are. Welcome back. Bruce Porter joins us now for this week's Dollars and Cents segment, where he takes a viewer's email, tries to answer the financial question on the air. How you doing?
Good to see
I'm
you
doing
again.
great. Good to see you.
Very good to see you. All right, we have a little show and tell we're going to show you here, but first we have the question.
You bet.
Okay, the time value of money says that at 10% interest, your money will double every 7 years. Is it possible to make 10% interest out there right now? And please, if there is, please tell me where.
Yeah. We all want to know that.
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it's out there, yeah, I'd like to know where that's at, because that would be a great number. A lot of people want that high rate of return, but I think the real question is, how much risk are you willing to accept to get that? And then when you get that rate of return, the real question is, how do you keep it? You can get it 1 year, and you could lose it the next, and then you're a year older, 2 years older. Now here we are 5, 6 years down the road, approaching retirement, and we had the bubble up, and we had the bubble down, and now where are we at?
Well,
So-
is the rate of return based on amount of risk you're going to take as far as any kind of guarantee is concerned, if there is such a thing?
Could be. I mean, if you're wanting a diversified portfolio, there's lots of places to get that, possibly get a higher return. I simply Googled the numbers for the last 14 years, and here's what they are.
Okay.
Now, there can be an argument for, well, I've got this specific stock, it's done better, I've got this portfolio, it's done. Well, that's true. I mean, anybody can pick and choose, and maybe, you know, blind hog finds an acorn every now and then.
Right.
But when you look at a general market and what really dictates overall rate of return, it's economic conditions, world events, different segments of the economy are affected different ways, so it depends on how your portfolio is situated. Now, you go back, you look from the high of 2000, what happened? Well, these rates of return are not that attractive. So you gotta really look at risk versus reward. Do you have a tool? Because all these are tools. Doesn't matter if it's our cash management tool, our medium range, or our long term, they're all tools. How much risk does your tool have, and what kind of features and benefits do your tools have? Do they have guarantees or do they not? Do they have risk, and how much, and what? Things like that.
Do they have fees? Do they have, I mean, all of that kind of plays in.
All of those different things can affect your rate of return. I like to look at, here's what I had, here's where I'm at today, how much do I have right now? Go back from October of 07. A year and 4 months, 50% of the S&P value was lost. Took another 4 years for it to get back to where it was in 07.
Where you started.
And now 2 more years later. And so the last 7 years in the S&P, there's about a 33% rate of return over that period of time, because the dip and the recovery. Now, if you got 100 grand and you lost 20%, you're at 80. If you gain 20% the next year, you're at 96.
Yes.
So you got to gain more to climb.
Yeah.
It's harder to
Net
climb than
loss
it is
there.
to slide backwards. So trying to find a tool that's going to provide what you want. What are your objectives, which we've discussed? Safety, security, fine. We can find a tool with that. If growth is your priority, find a tool that's going to be focused on growth. Try to manage your fees and expenses.
Right, and sometimes we need something like this to be written out and say, here's how it works. It's like a little flow chart. But there are some of us who still look at this and say, I have no idea. This is hieroglyphics to me. I don't get it. So that's when they need to come to somebody like you, get an advisor, and say, here are my objectives. Where do I start?
Right. A lot of advisors don't have a consultation fee to sit down and visit with you. I certainly don't.